I have a grandson who has Asperger's. I don't know if everybody knows what Asperger's is, but it's an inability to stop what's filtering in your mind from coming out of your mouth. We've all done it. Somebody's giving a speech or somebody's talking to us, and we said, geez, I wish they'd shut up, or they're an idiot, or I can't believe they're saying that. That's a bunch of crap. But we think it in our mind, and it doesn't come out our mouth. We just think about it. But with Asperger's, it just comes directly from your brain to your mouth. There's no filter, there's nothing to stop it. So that's what Asperger's is. And it's a terrible thing for those around him because they don't understand when he talks. He's talking about things that are in his mind that you may be thinking throughout the day because you're always talking to yourself in your own head. They just don't come out of your mouth. Well, he does, and he doesn't have any friends because of it. And his actions are the same thing. He doesn't think about his actions, he just does them. Now, a lot of times after a while, about 30 minutes later, he'll come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, or I'm sorry for yelling at you, or I'm sorry for whatever he did or said. He realizes it much later than we would. We realize it and stop it before it even starts. But with Asperger's, that's different. Point is, I was sitting there watching the debate with Hillary and Donald Trump, and he's sitting there watching it with me and saying, after a while, he says, Grandpa, does Donald Trump have Asperger's? And it kind of stunned me for a minute and said, He thought about what and the way Donald Trump speaks, and it sounds familiar to him. It sounds like that's the way he would talk, that it's unfiltered. It comes right out of your mouth. There's nothing blocking it to say, I shouldn't say that, even though you might be thinking it. A lot of what he says is true. What amazes me most of all is he understood that his issue, that he understands that he doesn't have a filter. To produce a comment like that, that's really an in-depth knowledge of, yeah, that's the same problem I have, but I get in trouble for it. But most of the time when he says something, they're true. They're not made up. It's something that's actually true, and it's hard to dispute what he says, even though he shouldn't say it. And there's a lot of kids out there like that. People, they don't understand, they don't have friends, but they don't have that mechanism to just stop them from blurting out things that we think, we just don't say. Anyway, I thought it was real good that he understood his own issue, and I hope we can work at making him a better person to be able to communicate better as life goes on, because he's going to really need it in his adult life. Unless he gets rich like Donald Trump and can say those things. Maybe it'll make a great president, maybe it won't, we don't know. But I hope he makes a great person in the future and gets along well in life. Thanks for listening. If you got any answers or any issues that can help me with dealing with Asperger's syndrome, it'd be greatly appreciated, because sometimes it can drive you up a wall, but it's hard to argue against him when most of the stuff he says is true. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Bye.